Destination, Sanbonan Bafetu. Welcome back to Football Trends with me, OQB. Now, earlier on, we did a live stream where we talked about Makabi Lilepo, and I told you guys in terms of, the situation that was currently happening or is currently happening, why he decided to, remove the Intoza Kilapano on Instagram. Now, I've told you that there's a certain club that is interested in signing him. Yes, I know the reports out there are saying there's no official offers, but from my side, in Sweden, there is an offer that was made. But now there's another club that is also interested or is currently monitoring the situation. Yake Makabi Lilepo lapana na. Unfortunately, what I've told you in terms of him, he's just not happy at Nashorena, and he definitely wants to leave, which we do understand. But other than that, AS far a bit is the club that is currently interested in signing Makabi Lilepo, despite Kaizer Chiefs not moving, not budging, not wanting to let go of the player. I've asked you this question earlier on. What do you think this will have a huge impact on the club, and also who do you think we should be trying to convince to bring to that position? Because at the end of the day, what he wants, it matters more than what the club wants, because without him or without his confidence to say, okay, definitely I'm going to play, it's going to be a problem. I feel like even last season we did not see the same Makabi Lilepo, but he was trying his best, in terms of trying to make sure what he plays, he performs. But felt like there was something that was a bit off, being no quarter some games, if you remember. But Makabi Lilepo could not do something like this, you understand? He could have done a lot better in this Fernando, which it is something. By the way, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell notification so that next time when I post a new video, you will be notified and be updated. So yeah, yes, there is interest for Makabi Lilepo. The question I asked you earlier on is, who should we bring in as a replacement? Now, we've already spoken about certain or several wingers that are out there. We have already spoken about Usianda Ndlovu from Lemontville Golden Arrows, I believe. But with Usianda Ndlovu, rumors are saying, Guti, it's a done deal with him and Orlando Pirates, so chances he might be going there. But for now, those are just rumors. I don't know if it's a fact or it will be coming to play. And then also we do have Langelihle Phili, which is a good winger, but I feel he is a left winger more than a right winger, and we definitely need a capable right winger. At the end of the day, also, there is something that I've said to you guys. As much as we can decide that this player and that player is good, at the end of the day, Kaizer Chiefs are the ones that have the power to say, no, we are signing this player, or we are not going to sign this player. This is the player that we're going to remain with, or this is what we are going to do. Because remember, we have also other players like Wandile Duba. I know he's mostly used as a center forward, but definitely he can play as a winger, even though I've always maintained and said I prefer him to play centrally, because as a winger, should he cut back, should he pass into the box, or Milan's Jean. But then when he's a center forward, he's free to roam around and play the way afuna corner. But there was a debate when it comes to that. I know it's fine, I'm not going to go back there. And then also we do have a player like Luke Batman. Yes, he's a center forward, but we've been trying to use him as a winger, and I feel like probably that is going to destroy him. Same as Velepai. Velepai is not originally a left winger, guys. I've said this even before some sign with guys. As much as we are happy, we still do need a left winger to come in, because Asanele, he's not originally a left winger, he's a right winger originally, but he can play on the left. It's it's not his favorite, and I feel like it doesn't, yield any result. Hence, we are struggling to come to terms with the fact that as much as we are playing him on the left side, the left hand side, he's not giving us anything. But if we introduce him on the right hand side, corner, I feel like we can get a bit more when it comes to Lilepo, because at the end of the day, that is his right hand side, and it's where he likes to play more, and that's where he creates a lot of danger for the opponents. So on the left, I've seen him, make haste decisions because he's not sure what to do. But let's give him a chance. Simdlale right where he originally belongs. He might surprise us, and we might end up seeing how we do not need any player. We just needed to give this boy a chance. So same as Luke Batman, I feel like we should be played more centrally than on the wings. But I don't know. That's just QB. QB is not a coach. QB doesn't know anything. He's just a fan. At the end of the day, decision yami or whatever I think is good for the club doesn't matter that much, because they are the ones that decide what matters and what not matters. Now, moving on, let's talk about coach Cedric Kaizer. Now, with the other coaches, I believe Khalil Ben Yusuf has already left the country, but I'm not sure. I will have to clarify on that one. All I can say is Cedric Kaizer njengoba khulumile la laphana ku Robert Marau ukuthi there is a club that is interested in signing him, a PSL club. He just did not want to iron the details. But what I can say is the deal is, according to reports, 90% done. So definitely he will be the next coach for isiKhukhune United this coming season. Now, the biggest thing that sorry about that I wanted us to look at and probably discuss is the fact that, did Kaizer just make a mistake by letting go of the co-coaches? And do you think, since Langelihle is going to isiKhukhune United, he might have a better season than he did on Kaizer Chiefs? Is it possible he might even be on the formula number 3, number 2? Is it a possibility? Well, can he even win the league? Because I've heard a lot of praise for Coach Cedric Kaizer too. I know he's an incredible coach, which for me, I feel like at this point, one thing I've learned about following Kaizer Chiefs is that any coach is a good coach. It's just the tools that he uses, that makes him the best. I've made examples with Coach Absolum Wadu. If he's not smart, he will leave Orlando Pirates, because currently there's a lot of rumors speaking about him leaving Orlando Pirates. By the way, you guys should stop saying we need Sipombule. We don't need Sipombule. You Pirate fans, yes, you Kulumanan, stop with that. Don't say it in a sting with Sipombule. We don't need Mbule. We have our own players that I feel like are a lot more capable than Mbule. Master Chef. So yeah, with that being said, where was I was speaking about Cedric Kaizer, as I've mentioned, that coaches, you might say is a bad coach, but it depends on the tools, because you give a good coach the right tools, he becomes the best coach. You give an okay coach, the best tools, he become a good coach. You need to understand. So as I was making an example with Absalom Wadu, which he might leave right now, and then all will be well. But uzotafika corner, probably he gets, a tough league or tough opponent. Same as with Jose Rivera, what is currently happening with him. He's not winning games consistently. Nothing is combining as of yet. Probably with time it is going to combine, but so far things are not going so great for him. So that is something that we need to look at and understand, because in thing from the say on mina it follow the one that we love so much. It doesn't matter actually. Okay, it does matters, but not to that extent. It all depends on the coach. If the coach is right, then definitely that coach is going to do an incredible job. I've made examples, and I'm always gonna make an example with Coach Makabi. I've always made an example with him. You understand? With Rulani Mkwena, he has the privilege that whatever he says, Magafike Tlapini is cutting a sling. Do you understand him? And then Bamenzele. So look at Coach Makabi. Is Coach Makabi a bad coach? Yes or no? I don't think so. But Pimash currently on the log, because I feel like if he was at Sundowns, he would have finished first. He would have been number one. Probably would have not been won the Champions League, but he could have been there. You understand? He could have done, something like that. But currently, he's not there. He's nowhere near. But does that mean he's a bad coach? No, I don't think so. I don't think Umangaba is a bad coach. It just, does the coach have the authority and the power to do what he thinks is right in a club? And is he fully backed? Because that's another thing. Hence, we've been speaking about Fernando Da Cruz, and we've said, or I have said from my side, as much as, some of the fans, 50% will say, okay, it's a bad move, 50% will say it's a good move. At the end of the day, it will all depend on whether the club is willing to support him. You understand? There's a lot. For example, Kazi, I'm happy he's spoken about this. He said Kaizer just wanted position number 2. You understand? They wanted position number 2. Coming from where? We need to be realistic about certain things. I understand, yes, we've been in the building phase. We've been building for years, and it only makes sense that we try and push for, certain things, because a club like Kaizer Chiefs, at least if we do not win the league, we should be having, those trophies, whatever it is, just to show what, okay, we are still there performance wise, we are trying, we want to get everything right. It's just not the right time. Understand? I do understand that, but also we have to look at where we're coming from. 2 seasons without being in the top 8. That is definitely something that we need to look at and understand what, okay, yeah, this is a lot. Another thing, the signings, the same signings Coach Nabi was crying about. We need to understand that, Bafetu. Don't forget about this. This is the silver lining. Coach cried about strikers. No. Currently, I do not have the strikers that I need in order to execute this job. There's one thing that I've always loved about Coach Nabi is the fact that he is not afraid of any opponent. If he wants to take you on, he will take you on, and he will make sure that he tries by all means to win those games. For me, I was disappointed by our players. Most of our players that were there last season during Nabi's time, they were no longer there, especially up front. Up front, Mrs. Chinchile, a lot of players, we did not have Ukanye Samayo. People will say something different, but let's be honest, guys. We did not have Kanye Samayo. We did not have Ejosa Ekotaro. We did not even have Flavio Silva. Yes, we had Makabi Lilepo. He was a suggestion from the coach or the co-coaches. Whatever happened in that situation, but one thing I do know is that Nabi has been an admirer for this player. Hence, right now, I feel like maybe it has to do with the fact that he wants to leave also. You understand? But other than that, we did not have him during those other times. But to Magafika, he made some significant impact. And then when he started to settle in, the club is not pushing as much as it should be. He felt like the responsibility was falling only on him. Hence, Naye, he decided to relax. And then it became a normal time. This is Kaizer Chiefs. We win 1 game, we draw the 2, 3, 4 games, we lose maybe 2 games, and it became so frustrating to the point that I understood, okay, definitely something is not right at this club. There is a huge problem. But last season, we had players, and those players made a huge impact. So, are you going to sit there and tell me, Wuti, Lentubega Kulumu coach doesn't make any sense? I was just saying, remember, we even had TT. TT was starting to perform, he was doing exceptional well. Then we decided to let go of him, and then we had to restructure again in terms of a defense. And I'm happy. If you remember correctly, guys, we had the first preseason, which was hidden from the public. It was hidden, so well rounded, so well guarded. Besiye eteki nje bebangafunisazi lutho. They did not even show us the games. Besizwe nje ukuthi Kaizer Chiefs played uRangashiva Viro scored about 9 10 goals, whatever the case was. But then when we went to Netherlands, I believe it was Netherlands, things were completely different. They were completely different. We streamed each and every game that was being played except for 1 or 2 games that they decided, no, we don't want this one to be public. And yeah, we got to see, the players. We got to see what the coaches were seeing during that time. You understand? We saw the likes of Aiden McCarthy. I believe even Samgero Zwane was there, if I'm not mistaken, but it was a good preseason. Yes, we were not winning games at all. I feel like maybe we've won 1 or 2 games, but then it gave us the opportunity to look at the signings, the new players, and then to see what we can combine as a club going forward and preparing for the season, because that's another thing. A coach like Unabi did not have any experience with a PSL, same as now. Coach Fernando Da Cruz. That is the biggest problem that a lot of people are not looking at. But I'm like, okay, Coach Fernando Da Cruz is coming, but he has no experience whatsoever about this league. He's gonna have to start afresh and try to understand and see if it's going to work for him or not. I don't blame him for saying he doesn't want to work with the co-coaches, because we know what happened between them and the previous coach, which, remember, if you think about it, Fernando Da Cruz came with Ukushnabi. He was the first actually to arrive when we were talking about, the coaches coming in. If you go to my YouTube right now, Pume, and then you go to popular videos, you will see that Fernando Da Cruz was the first to arrive. And I believe go YouTube, I was the first one to show you guys the clip of Fernando Da Cruz arriving. It was credited due to Ifa Post, towards Sitube, Langelihle Phili. I think they were the ones who managed to capture, most of the footage from that side. So that is something that we need to look at. Fernando Cruz is coming to learn. He will start by learning. He might be a good coach, but now it's not going to be like, okay, we are waiting for him because now Tina Soti, why is he not winning games? What is happening? He's just going to want to, learn first, understand how PSL works, and then Kanege Azotala combine. Hence, he signed 2 years with an option. You understand? So they're giving him a season to learn, understand everything, and then another season to at least try and get something. Even though, honestly speaking, Kaizer just made a huge mistake by letting go of the co-coaches. At least one should have remained. At least one should have remained. Someone with the system, because they already knew, they already understand what it takes to play with PSL. Fernando Da Cruz does not have that experience. I've heard someone saying league as far as one of the weakest leagues, because when it comes to PSL, Ziabuya, and that is true. That is another point that we need to look at. I feel like Kaizer is going back to the thing of, okay, we need to sign coaches that are not well known so that they perform, because they would want to build, they are eager to work, they want, this and this and that. But the biggest problem, or the biggest thing that we do need to understand, is that this is PSL. This is not the easy league that most people think it is. Ziabuyalan. And for me, yeah, I'm just hoping, when this guy is announced and he starts playing games, it's just going to be as easy as a lot of people think it will be. But all I can say is, from my side, I support the coach. I cannot wait to see what he's going to do with the club. But also, we should not think that we are going to win each and every game that we are going to play this coming season. And also, I did hear that there's a possibility, guys. I don't know how and why, but there's a possibility that we might release about 10, almost close to 10. I'm not saying that is the accurate number, but close to even 10 players. So chances are a lot of players might be let go of, excluding players that have already signed. Players like Ozita Kwenika. Kwenika has already signed a 1-year extension. And so far, there are negotiations, but one thing I do know is a lot of the players, or some of the players, might be let go of. So yeah, guys, this is it. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you with something new.